After Moses went to the mountain to go and get the 10 commandments, he spent 40 days there. And then the Israelites got tired and they went to Aaron and they told Aaron that he should build another idol for them because they wanted to worship the idol. And when they started worshiping the idols, suddenly their worship of the idols turned to an orgy of drinking and sex. They weren't worshiping the idols because they liked the idols. They were worshiping the idols because the idols allowed them to do the things that they wanted to do. And that's the same way it is today. There are a lot of people that don't believe in God today, not because they are proofs that God does not exist, because they are not proofs. They don't believe in God because, you see, they choose to not believe because they don't want to be accountable for their actions. They know that the Bible condemns what they are doing. They know that they should not be having sex outside marriage. They know that there are a lot of things they are doing that is against the Bible. So they now discredit the Bible in general, and they now go and say God does not exist, so that they won't even have to think about the fact that what they are doing is wrong. They discredit the whole thing. Why? Because they don't want to have moral accountability. They choose to rebel against God not because there is proof that God does not exist, but because they lack moral accountability. There is something in this life called confirmation bias. If I tell you now to close your eyes and to suddenly look around your room for all the things that are red, right? And close your eyes, you'll be able to tell me all the things that are red. But if I tell you to not tell me all the things that are pink, you will have to open your eyes again. You will not remember anything that was pink, even if you looked around the whole room. Why? Because you were looking for what was red. And it will take me telling you to look for what was pink to find what was pink. What does that mean? It means that when you are looking for something, you will always find it. You will always find it. Now, I told you to look for that pink now. And as you looked around, I told you to look for that red. And as you looked around, you probably found the red. But when I told you now, once your eyes was closed, to tell me an object that was pink, you won't be able to tell me. But you see, there may have been an object that was pink in that room, but you did not see it. Why? Because you were not looking for pink. You were looking for red. And the same way, many of you now, because you have already decided in your heart that you don't want to follow God because you love your desires, you now look around the world for proofs that God does not exist. But while you're looking around the world for proofs that God does not exist, there are proofs that God does exist. But because you are looking for proofs that God does not exist, you don't find those proofs that God exists. So it is now as though God does not exist. But you see, how you are interacting with reality is how you are processing reality. But it doesn't mean that's what reality is. Just because you think something is true doesn't mean it's true. You can be wrong. This is one of the things I saw in the Bible with Hagar. When Hagar was in the desert with Ishmael, she was going to die of thirst, her and Ishmael. But you see, God came and spoke to her. And then the Bible said that God opened her eyes and she saw a well in the wilderness. If she died, and they asked her, how did you die? She would have said that, oh, there was no water in the wilderness and I died. But you see, there was water there. There was a well there. But she did not see it. And because she did not see it, she was going to perish as though there was no water. And that's the same way. Many of you are heading to destruction. But it's not because there is no way you can be saved. It's because you refuse to see it. That is why it takes humility to follow God. It takes humility to admit that I am dirty and I need to be cleaned.